I don't like talking about the competition so much, but I drive the Xiaomi. We flew one from Shanghai to Chicago, and I've been driving it for 6 months now, and I don't want to give it up.
When I last spoke, because I'd love to talk to you about the kind of global transition in the automotive industry, because it is obviously it's big, it's happening, and it's very disruptive, I think it would be a fair description.
Since the last time we talked, so much has changed and so much hasn't. What hasn't changed is that electric cars continue to grow quickly around the world. What has changed is the winners and losers are changing dramatically, and it will change the landscape of not only our industry, but the industrial manufacturing footprint around the globe. And that is very disruptive. We always thought the most disruptive part of our transformation would be going to advanced electric architectures and software-enabled cars. And although that is really transforming the industry, 70% of all electric cars made on the globe are made in one country, China.
Yeah. Wow. It is 70%. I didn't realize that.
70%.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And then that market is starting to specialize, where they have electric vehicles for long-range travel, where the charging structure is not built out, called an EREV. It goes 150 to 200 miles, all electric. It's an electric car, and it has a small industrial combustion engine that powers the batteries, and that could power on one tank of gas up to 1,000 to 1,200 kilometers.
Right.
But it drives as an electric car. There's no transmission, there's no axles or differentials. It's a pure electric vehicle with a backup system in case you can't find charging.
Yeah.
And in China, it's the fastest growing subsegment of the EV industry. Right. And now you have the geopolitics and the labor and everything connected to these second order issues with electric taking off and having the Chinese be so dominant around the globe in terms of cost. And they see Europe and the UK and many markets around the globe as opportunistic. And that is totally changing the global supply chain footprint. Yeah. It's changing brand preferences. It's changing jobs. Yeah. It's going to transform our industry. And in the last year, that's come into focus.
Right. Yes, I think so. I think everyone's aware of that. I mean, I just wanted to say that when I last was in Australia early this year, my sister-in-law and my niece, who are two people who you couldn't find anyone with less interest in cars, except they drive them, because they use them. They've both got BYDs.
There you go.
That was not, and you'd sort of think, oh, well, that's because they've talked to you, Robert. I never mentioned anything about it because there's no point talking to them about cars. They're not interested. Yeah. So I keep, they are so common there already. I mean, that explosion of their uptake is extraordinary in Australia.
And it's included in the combustion world. I think the best-selling SUV in Australia, which is a very important market, as you mentioned, because it's completely open.
Yeah.
And yet people drive like Western Europe or even in the U.S. and places. So it's a very important market. I watch it very closely.
Yeah.
Maybe more than Norway these days. And also the best-selling SUV there is no longer Toyota or Ford. It's Haval, and it's a Chinese brand.
Yeah.
So things are changing. Mexico, 25% of all sales in Mexico, which it'd be a long drive, but I could get there in one day from where we're doing this interview. And that's 1 out of 4 vehicles sold in Mexico is built in China.
It's built in China. And these are not all electric, but a lot of them will be.
No, you're right. Half are not.
Right.
But, it just happens in our industry. It happened with the Model T. When a new technology comes, there's a fitness test for costs. And whoever has the lowest cost, like Henry Ford with the Model T, they tend to have the opportunity to sell into higher cost markets like Europe or Britain or Mexico or Australia. And that cost advantage is very material for the customer. It could be 25% savings.
Yeah.
And in the world of tough choices, where your car is the second most expensive thing you buy, a lot of customers I'm willing to take a risk. And, Chinese manufacturing is has really been proven to so many consumers in so many consumer product categories as being fully superior quality in many cases, in many categories. So it's not like the risk that some people would imagine even 5 years ago. So it's for being the head of Ford, this is the topic that we discussed the most in the last year. How do we compete? Where do we want to compete? How do we win? What rights do we have to win? What capabilities do we have to build in the company to compete and survive?
Yeah.